Admiral Han Deho stood in the darkness of the Lunar Command Center and watched the stars through the thick glass window. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his hands were steady on the control panel. 20 years of his life had gone into this moment, and now the galaxy would finally see what humans could do when they stopped playing by alien rules. The command center was buried deep inside the dark side of the moon, where no alien sensors could detect it. Hundreds of scientists and engineers worked at their stations while massive screens showed data that would change everything. Dr. Kim So-ra walked up to the Admiral with a tablet in her hands. Her young face was tired, but her eyes were bright, with excitement. "The final calculations are complete, Admiral," she said in a quiet voice. "The dark matter compression rates are stable, and all fleet units are reporting ready status. We can begin the operation whenever you give the order." Han Deho nodded slowly and looked at the woman who had made the impossible possible. For years, the galaxy had treated Earth like a mining colony that existed only to dig up rare metals for the advanced civilizations. The Galactic Council had 847 species, but humans were barely allowed to speak during meetings. When Earth asked for better technology or fair trade deals, the alien leaders would laugh and say humans were too primitive to understand real science. But they were wrong about humans, and their biggest mistake was thinking they knew what humans were working on. "Tell me again how the dark matter weapons work, Dr. Kim," the Admiral said, even though he knew the answer perfectly. Kim So-ra smiled and pulled up a holographic display that showed swirling patterns of energy. "Dark matter makes up most of the universe, but it barely interacts with normal matter. That is why alien sensors cannot detect it and why their shields cannot stop it. We learned how to compress dark matter into solid projectiles that can phase through enemy shields and then become real inside their ships. The damage is incredible." The Admiral watched the display and remembered all the times alien diplomats had dismissed human requests with cruel laughter. The Vorthak Empire was the worst of them all. Their representatives would come to Earth and demand tribute while making jokes about human intelligence. They called humans the digger species, and said Earth existed only to serve better civilizations. Captain Lee Jun-woo entered the command center and saluted sharply. His flight suit was black with no markings that could identify him as human. Behind him walked Commander Park Ye-jin, whose cybernetic implants glowed softly in the dim light. She carried a data pad with intelligence reports from across the galaxy. "Admiral, the dark matter fleet is in position," Captain Lee reported. "All 300 vessels are holding station around the asteroid belt, and none of the Vorthak ships have detected us. Their sensors are completely blind to our presence." Commander Park stepped forward and activated her data pad. "Sir, I am receiving communications from the Vorthak fleet. They are demanding immediate surrender and tribute from Earth. Admiral Vex Kalar is broadcasting on all frequencies that humans have 24 hours to comply or face total destruction." Han Deho almost smiled at that. Admiral Vex Kalar was known throughout the galaxy as the Vorthak Empire's most arrogant commander. He had destroyed dozens of worlds that refused to submit to Vorthak rule, and he thought 200 ships were enough to terrify Earth into complete surrender. "What is the status of our mining vessels?" the Admiral asked. "They are proceeding to the rendezvous point as ordered," Commander Park replied. "The Vorthak ships believe we are delivering tribute as demanded. They have no idea what is really waiting for them." The plan was simple, but had taken years to prepare. When the Vorthak Empire demanded tribute from Earth's newest mining operation, the human government appeared to agree immediately. They sent out a convoy of mining ships loaded with rare metals toward the Vorthak fleet. But hidden in the asteroid field around the meeting point were hundreds of human ships that no alien technology could detect. Dr. Kim So-ra walked to the main display screen and began entering commands. The screen filled with tactical information, showing every ship in the solar system. Red dots marked the Vorthak vessels, while blue dots showed the human mining convoy. But when she entered a special code, hundreds of green dots appeared around the asteroids. "The dark matter fleet," she said quietly. "Every ship is invisible to their sensors and armed with weapons that can tear through their hulls like paper." Admiral Han Deho studied the display and felt a moment of satisfaction. For 20 years he had worked in secret to build this fleet. The project started when he was a submarine commander in Earth's Navy, and alien visitors made jokes about human ships being so primitive. He swore that day to show them what humans could really build when they put their minds to it. The breakthrough came when Dr. Kim discovered that dark matter could be manipulated using quantum field generators. While alien civilizations focused on plasma weapons and energy shields, humans went in a completely different direction. They learned to weaponize the invisible matter that filled the universe and build ships that existed in the spaces between. Normal matter. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the lead mining vessel," Commander Park announced. "Captain Nam reports that the Vorthak ships are moving into attack formation. They plan to destroy our convoy after taking the tribute to send a message to other species." This was exactly what human intelligence had predicted. The Vorthak Empire never honored agreements and always took everything they could before destroying their victims anyway. It was their way of showing the galaxy what happened to species that did not submit completely, but today would be different. "Signal all dark matter fleet units," Admiral Han ordered. "Begin Phase 1 of Operation Nightfall. Target the Vorthak command ships first, and remember that we want some survivors to carry word back to their empire." Captain Lee Junwoo saluted and headed toward his fighter bay. "Understood, Admiral. My squadron will eliminate their flagship and communications vessels. The rest of the fleet will not know what hit them." Dr. Kim So-ra watched the tactical display as green dots began moving toward red ones. "Admiral, are you sure we should reveal our capabilities now? Once the galaxy knows about dark matter technology, everything will change." Han Dae-ho nodded grimly. "Dr. Kim, the galaxy has been playing a game where they make all the rules and humans always lose. Today we show them that the game has changed, and there are new rules. When word of this battle spreads, every alien civilization will understand that Earth is not their mining colony anymore." The Admiral activated the fleet-wide communication system, and his voice reached every human ship in the dark matter fleet. "Attention all vessels, this is Admiral Han. For 20 years we have worked in secret to build weapons that no alien force can detect or defend against. Today we show the galaxy what humans can accomplish when we stop asking for permission and start taking action. The Vorthak Empire thinks they can destroy Earth with 200 ships, but they are about to learn that humans do not surrender to bullies." On the main screen, the red dots representing Vorthak ships began moving closer to the human mining convoy. In a few minutes the battle would begin, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The dark matter fleet was ready to take the stage, and when they did, the entire galaxy would understand that a new power had emerged from the small blue world they had dismissed for so long. Admiral Han Dae-ho watched the display and waited for the moment that would change history forever. Captain Lee Junwoo guided his dark matter fighter through the asteroid field and felt the familiar silence of stealth mode. His ship existed in the space between normal matter, and no alien sensor could detect him or his squadron. Through his cockpit window, he could see the massive Vorthak dreadnought growing larger as he approached, but its crew had no idea death was coming for them. The Vorthak fleet had arranged itself in a perfect attack formation around the human mining convoy. Admiral Vex Kalar's flagship was a kilometer long and bristled with plasma cannons that could melt through any known armor. Behind it were 199 other ships, including destroyers and battlecruisers that had conquered dozens of worlds. The alien commander was broadcasting threats on all frequencies and demanding that Earth surrender immediately. But Captain Lee knew something the aliens did not. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt were 300 human ships that could strike without warning and disappear just as quickly. The dark matter fleet had been waiting for this moment for years, and now they would show the galaxy what humans could do when they stopped playing by alien rules. "Squadron leaders, this is Dragon 1. Lee spoke into his communication system. "All units are in position and ready to begin the attack. Remember, we want to disable their command ship first, so they cannot coordinate a defense." Engineer Baek Ha-young's voice crackled through the comm from the Lunar Command Center. "Dragon 1, the dark matter torpedoes are armed and ready. Each weapon will phase through their shields and explode inside their hull. There is no defense against this technology." Captain Nam Ki-tae led the stealth operations squadron, and his voice was calm as he reported. "Dragon 1, my units have target locks on their communication arrays. Once we eliminate their ability to talk to each other, the battle will be over quickly." Lee checked his targeting system and saw the perfect shot lined up on the Vorthak flagship's bridge. The dark matter torpedo would pass through their shields like they were not even there, and then become solid inside the ship. The explosion would tear the command center apart from within and leave the rest of the fleet without leadership. All units, this is Dragon 1, he announced. Operation Nightfall begins now. Fire at will. The first dark matter torpedoes launched from invisible ships and raced toward their targets. The Vorthak crew saw nothing on their sensors and had no warning of the incoming attack. Admiral Vex Kalar was still broadcasting his demands when the first torpedo phased through his flagship's shields and detonated inside the bridge. The explosion tore through the command center and sent debris flying in all directions. Emergency. Alarms screamed throughout the ship as atmosphere vented into space. Admiral Vex Kalar died instantly, along with his entire command staff. The flagship began to list as secondary explosions ripped through its hull. But the attack had only just begun. Dark matter fighters swarmed around the Vorthak fleet like invisible demons striking from every direction. Torpedoes phased through shields and armor to explode inside enemy ships while the alien crews frantically tried to find targets they could not see. "What is attacking us?" screamed a Vorthak captain as his destroyer was torn apart by internal explosions. "Where are they coming from?" His communications officer was dead and his sensors showed empty space in every direction. The human ships existed in a realm that Vorthak technology could not detect, and their weapons ignored every defense the aliens had developed over centuries of warfare. Captain Lee watched his squadron tear through the enemy fleet with ruthless efficiency. Each dark matter torpedo found its target and each explosion sent alien ships spinning helplessly through space. The psychological effect was even more devastating than the physical damage. The Vorthak crews were panicking because they could not fight an enemy they could not see. "Dragon 2, this is Dragon 1, Lee called to his wingman. "Take your flight and eliminate their remaining destroyers. I want this battle finished in 5 minutes." "Copy, Dragon 1, came the reply. "My sensors show minimal resistance remaining. Most of their ships are already disabled or destroyed." General Cho Min-ho monitored the battle from Earth's orbital defense platform and watched the tactical display with satisfaction. 20 years of secret development and careful planning were paying off perfectly. The Vorthak Empire had sent their most feared admiral with 200 ships to crush human resistance, but instead, they were being destroyed by weapons they did not even know existed. "General, the alien fleet is completely disabled," reported his tactical officer. "Our casualties are 0 while enemy losses are approaching 90%. A few ships are attempting to flee, but our pursuit squadrons are intercepting them." Cho Min-ho nodded and activated his communication system. "Admiral Han, this is ground command. The Vorthak fleet has been neutralized with minimal effort. Do you want survivors for interrogation purposes?" Admiral Han's voice came through clearly from the Lunar Command Center. "Allow a few ships to escape, General. We want them to carry word back to their empire about what happened here. The galaxy needs to understand that the rules have changed." Commander Park Ye-jin stood beside Admiral Han and watched the battle display with her cybernetic implants recording every detail. The intelligence data would be crucial for planning future operations against other hostile alien civilizations. Her enhanced processing capabilities allowed her to analyze the enemy's tactics and weaknesses in real time. "Admiral, the Vorthak ships are using standard energy shields and plasma weapons," she reported. "Their technology has not advanced significantly in the past century. They became overconfident in their superiority and stopped innovating." "That was their mistake, Commander," Admiral Han replied. "While they were celebrating their dominance, humans were developing weapons they could never imagine. Dark matter. Technology will give us the advantage we need to reshape the galaxy." Dr. Kim So-ra monitored the weapon systems and felt pride in her creation. The dark matter torpedoes were performing exactly as designed, and the phase technology was working perfectly. Each weapon could choose when to become solid matter, and the timing was precise enough to penetrate enemy hulls and detonate inside their most critical systems. "Admiral, all weapon systems are functioning within normal parameters," she reported. "The dark matter compression is stable, and our ships are showing no signs of detection. The enemy truly cannot see us." The battle lasted exactly 6 minutes and 12 seconds. When it was over, the Vorthak fleet was reduced to burning wreckage, floating among the asteroids. Only 3 enemy ships escaped and they fled toward their home territory with news of the devastating defeat. The human mining convoy was untouched and the dark matter fleet remained completely invisible to any surviving alien sensors. Captain Lee Junwoo returned to his hidden base and felt the satisfaction of a mission completed perfectly. His squadron had destroyed the most powerful ships in the alien fleet without taking a single casualty. The dark matter fighters had performed flawlessly, and the enemy never even knew they were under attack until it was too late. "Dragon 1 to command, this is Captain Lee reporting," he said as his ship docked with the stealth carrier. "All objectives achieved and squadron intact. The Vorthak fleet has been eliminated." Admiral Han's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction. "Well done, Captain. Signal all fleet units to return to base and maintain stealth protocols. We have sent the first message, but this war is far from over." The news of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The 3 surviving Vorthak ships reached their nearest outpost and sent emergency transmissions to their high command. The report seemed impossible to believe. An entire fleet had been destroyed by invisible attackers using unknown weapons that could penetrate any defense. Within hours, every major alien civilization was analyzing the intelligence and trying to understand what had happened. The Galactic Council called an emergency session, while military leaders demanded explanations that no one could provide. The humans had demonstrated technology that violated everything the galaxy thought it knew about physics and warfare. But, on the dark side of Earth's moon, Admiral Han Dae-ho was already planning the next phase of Operation Nightfall. The dark matter fleet was just the beginning, and soon the galaxy would learn that humans had been preparing for this moment for much longer than anyone realized. Admiral Jang Soo-bin floated in the command center of her stealth reconnaissance ship as it drifted through the outer edge of Vorthak space. Her vessel was completely invisible to enemy sensors and had been gathering intelligence for 3 weeks, without detection. What she had discovered would change the entire scope of the war between Earth and the alien empires. The Galactic Council was meeting in emergency session on their capital world, and the debates were growing more heated every day. Representatives from 847 species argued about how to respond to Earth's demonstration of dark matter technology. Some wanted to negotiate with humans, while others demanded immediate military action to crush this new threat before it could spread. But Jang Soo-bin had found something that made all their arguments meaningless. Hidden deep in Vorthak territory were massive construction facilities building weapons that could destroy entire star systems. The alien empire had been secretly preparing to conquer the galaxy and eliminate any species that might resist their rule. "Commander, this is Admiral Jang." She spoke quietly into her communication system. "Send a priority transmission to Lunar Command. Tell Admiral Han that we have discovered the real threat and it is much worse than we thought." Dr. Oh Tae-young worked at his analysis station and studied the data they had gathered from captured alien facilities. The xenobiologist had spent years learning about different species and their technologies, but what the Vorthak were building was beyond anything he had seen before. "Admiral, these planet-killer weapons use concentrated gravity waves to tear worlds apart," he reported. "The energy requirements are massive, but they have been building the infrastructure for decades. If they complete this project, they could eliminate any species that refuses to submit." Major Shinbo Ra checked her equipment and prepared for the most dangerous mission of her career. Her marine unit would have to infiltrate a heavily guarded Vorthak facility and gather detailed intelligence about their weapon systems. The dark matter insertion pods would get them inside undetected, but once they were on the station, they would be on their own. "Admiral, my unit is ready for insertion," she reported. "We will gather the technical specifications and eliminate any witnesses. The Vorthak will not know we were there until it is too late." The insertion pods launched from the reconnaissance ship and phased through the station's shields like they were not even there. Major Shin and her Marines materialized inside the facility's central computer core and immediately began their work. The alien security systems could not detect them, and the guards had no idea that humans had infiltrated their most secret installation. While the Marines worked, Admiral Jang continued her analysis of Vorthak military preparations. The alien empire had been mobilizing forces across dozens of star systems, and their fleet strength was far greater than anyone in the galaxy realized. They had been hiding ships in remote locations and building new vessels at an incredible rate. "This changes everything," she whispered as she studied the tactical data. "The Vorthak Empire has enough firepower to conquer the entire galaxy, and they were planning to do it soon. The attack on Earth was just the beginning." Back on Earth, Admiral Han De-ho received the intelligence reports and felt a cold anger growing in his chest. The alien empire had been planning genocide on a galactic scale while pretending to be members of the peaceful Galactic Council. They had used their position to gather intelligence about other species and plan their eventual destruction. Commander Park Ye-jin processed the data with her cybernetic implants and confirmed the worst fears. Admiral, the Vorthak have been systematically preparing to eliminate every species that might pose a threat to their dominance. They view the galaxy as their property and all other life forms as obstacles to be removed. Dr. Kim So-ra studied the technical specifications of the alien planet killers and realized how close the galaxy had come to total domination. These gravity weapons could destroy entire solar systems in a matter of hours. If the Vorthak had finished building them, no force in the galaxy could have stopped their conquest. General Cho Min-ho coordinated the response from Earth's military command and began mobilizing additional dark matter fleet units. The scope of the threat meant that humanity would have to act quickly and decisively to prevent galactic genocide. "Admiral, we need to eliminate the Vorthak Empire completely," he said during the emergency strategy meeting. "This is not just about Earth anymore. They were planning to murder billions of innocent beings across the galaxy." Admiral Han nodded grimly and activated the holographic display showing Vorthak territory. Red markers indicated the locations of planet killer facilities while blue dots showed the positions of dark matter fleet units. The coming battle would determine the fate of every living thing in the galaxy. "We have no choice," he said quietly. "The Vorthak Empire must be destroyed before they can complete their weapons. But we cannot do this alone. We need to warn the other species and show them the evidence of what was being planned." Colonel Kwon Jae-sung had been developing contingency plans for this exact scenario. His strategic analysis showed that the galaxy's political structure would collapse once the truth about Vorthak intentions became known. Many species that had supported the Empire would turn against them while others would panic and demand protection. "Admiral, I recommend we broadcast the intelligence data to all major civilizations simultaneously," he suggested. "Once they understand what the Vorthak were planning, they will have no choice but to support our actions." The decision was made to reveal everything to the galaxy at once. Commander Park prepared a comprehensive data package that included recordings of Vorthak facilities, technical specifications of planet killer weapons, and evidence of their planned genocide. The transmission would go out on all galactic communication frequencies and could not be suppressed or ignored. Major Shin and her Marines completed their mission and returned to the reconnaissance ship with detailed intelligence about Vorthak capabilities. The data they gathered confirmed the worst fears about alien intentions and provided crucial information for planning the coming offensive. "Admiral, we have everything we need," Major Shin reported. The Vorthak were only months away from completing their first wave of planet killers. If we had not discovered this, they could have begun their conquest within the year. Admiral Jang Soo-bin prepared to return to Earth with the intelligence that would change the galaxy forever. Her stealth ship began the journey back to human space, while maintaining complete invisibility to enemy sensors. The dark matter technology that had won the first battle would now be used to save every species in the galaxy from extinction. As her ship traveled through the darkness between stars, she thought about the terrible irony of the situation. The alien civilizations that had dismissed humans as primitive were about to be saved by the very species they had refused to respect. Earth's dark matter fleet would become the shield that protected the galaxy from its greatest threat. But first, the galaxy would have to accept a new reality. The age of Vorthak dominance was ending, and a new power was rising. Humanity had looked into the darkness between stars and found the strength to protect not just themselves, but every innocent life in the galaxy. The broadcast went out across all galactic frequencies, and within hours, every major civilization knew the truth about Vorthak intentions. The political structure that had existed for millennia began to crumble as species realized how close they had come to total extinction. Emergency meetings were called and alliances formed as the galaxy prepared for the war that would determine its future. Admiral Han Dai-ho watched the responses flood in and knew that everything had changed. Earth was no longer fighting for its own survival but for the freedom of every thinking being in the galaxy. The Dark Matter Fleet would take the stage not as conquerors but as liberators, and when they did, the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Yu Donghyun watched through his ship's viewport as the largest military force in galactic history approached the Sol system. 50,000 Vorthak vessels filled the darkness of space in perfect formation, stretching across millions of kilometers. Their commanders believed they were coming to destroy a primitive human civilization, but they had no idea what was really waiting for them. The Vorthak Empire had called in every ship and ally they could find after the devastating intelligence leaks revealed their plans for galactic genocide. Species that had been their supporters for centuries now turned against them, while others demanded immediate action to stop the planet-killer weapons. The alien empire found itself isolated and desperate, so they decided to eliminate Earth before human technology could spread to other civilizations. "Admiral, this is Captain Yu reporting," he said into his communication system. "Enemy fleet composition includes 200 dreadnoughts, 500 battlecruisers, 1,000 destroyers, and thousands of support vessels. They are moving into attack formation and will be in weapons range within 6 hours." Admiral Han Daeho's voice came back, calm and steady from the Lunar Command Center. "Understood, Captain. All Dark Matter Fleet units are to maintain stealth positions until the enemy commits to full engagement. We want them to believe they are facing only our visible ships." The human defensive fleet appeared to consist of only 500 conventional vessels arranged in a standard protective formation around Earth. To Vorthak sensors, it looked like humanity was making a desperate last stand with inferior technology and hopeless odds. The alien commanders were confident that their massive numerical advantage would overwhelm any resistance in a matter of hours, but they could not see the 3,000 dark matter ships hidden throughout the solar system, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Captain Yu commanded one of the new experimental units equipped with humanity's most terrifying weapon. The dark matter black hole generator could create temporary gravitational anomalies that would consume entire enemy formations. Commander Lim Yoonji monitored communications from her position on the flagship and prepared to broadcast the most important message in galactic history. Her transmission would reveal the truth about Vorthak genocide plans to every species in the galaxy and show them that humanity was fighting not for conquest, but for liberation. "Admiral, all galactic communication networks are ready," she reported. "When you give the order, I will broadcast the evidence of Vorthak war crimes to 847 species simultaneously. Once they see the proof, they will understand why this war was necessary." Dr. Kim Sora watched her instruments as the dark matter weapons charged to full power. The technology she had developed was about to be tested on the largest scale ever attempted. Each ship in the hidden fleet carried enough firepower to destroy hundreds of enemy vessels, and their weapons could strike from any direction without warning. "Admiral, all Dark Matter Fleet units report ready status," she announced. "Weapon systems are at maximum efficiency, and stealth fields are holding perfectly. The enemy has no idea we are here." The Vorthak fleet moved into final attack position with Supreme Admiral Keth Voller commanding from his massive flagship. The alien leader was famous throughout the galaxy for destroying species that refused to submit to Vorthak rule. He had personally overseen the genocide of dozens of civilizations and considered humans to be just another primitive species to be eliminated. "All units, this is Supreme Admiral Keth Voller." His voice boomed across the alien fleet frequencies. "Today we destroy the human pest once and for all. Their pathetic technology cannot stand against the might of the Vorthak Empire. Show no mercy and leave nothing alive." But as the alien ships prepared to fire their first salvo, they were unaware that death was already surrounding them. Dark matter mines had been scattered throughout the battle zone weeks earlier, and now they began to activate. The invisible weapons phased into normal space and detonated inside enemy hull sections, creating massive internal explosions. Captain Yu watched as the first wave of Vorthak dreadnoughts was torn apart by weapons they could not see or understand. The dark matter mines had been perfectly placed to maximize damage, and the psychological impact was devastating. Alien crews panicked as their most powerful ships disintegrated around them. "All units, this is Admiral Han," came the command over the human fleet network. "Begin Operation Final Liberation. Show the galaxy what happens to species that plan genocide." The dark matter fleet revealed itself all at once as thousands of invisible ships materialized around the alien formation. Vorthak sensors suddenly detected human vessels in every direction as the stealth fields dropped, and the true size of Earth's military became visible. The psychological shock was immediate as alien commanders realized they were surrounded and outnumbered. Captain Yu activated his black hole generator and targeted the center of the enemy formation. The weapon created a temporary gravitational anomaly that consumed an entire squadron of Vorthak battlecruisers in seconds. The sight of ships being torn apart by artificial gravity wells spread terror through the alien ranks. "This is impossible," screamed a Vorthak captain as his destroyer was pulled into a collapsing space-time distortion. "How can the humans create black holes? This technology should not exist." But the dark matter weapons were just the beginning of humanity's demonstration. Commander Lim activated the Galactic Broadcast System and began transmitting the evidence of Vorthak genocide plans to every civilization in the galaxy. Technical specifications of planet-killer weapons appeared on screens across 847 worlds, along with recordings of alien leaders discussing the elimination of inferior species. "Citizens of the galaxy," she announced in a clear voice that reached billions of beings. "You are witnessing the destruction of the Vorthak Empire not for conquest but for liberation. These aliens plan to murder every thinking being in the galaxy and remake it in their own image. Humanity fights today to protect all innocent life from extinction." The impact of the broadcast was immediate and devastating. Vorthak allies began turning their weapons on their own commanders, while species across the galaxy sent messages of support to Earth. The political alliance that had supported the alien empire collapsed in minutes as the truth about their genocidal plans became undeniable. Colonel Quan Jae-sung coordinated the strategic response from Earth's war room and watched as the battle turned into a complete rout. "Admiral, the enemy fleet is beginning to collapse from within. Multiple Vorthak units are reporting mutinies and several allied species have switched sides during the battle." The fighting lasted less than 4 hours, but it changed the galaxy forever. Dark matter weapons tore through the Vorthak fleet with unstoppable efficiency, while artificial black holes consumed entire formations. The alien empire's greatest military force was reduced to scattered wreckage floating in the darkness of space. Supreme Admiral Keth Voller died when his flagship was pulled into one of Captain Yu's gravitational anomalies. His last transmission was a plea for mercy that went unanswered as the ship was compressed into a point of infinite density. The symbol of Vorthak military might disappeared into nothingness, along with its commander. When the battle ended, the galaxy had witnessed the birth of a new order. The species that had dismissed humanity as primitive miners now begged for protection from the dark matter fleet. Emergency sessions of the Galactic Council voted to dismantle the Vorthak Empire and establish Earth as the ultimate guarantor of galactic peace. Admiral Han Daiho watched the tactical display as the last enemy ships fled toward the outer rim. "Signal all fleet units to pursue only those vessels carrying planet-killer technology. Allow the others to escape so they can spread word of what happened here." Dr. Kim So-ra analyzed the battle data and felt pride in how perfectly her weapons had performed. "Admiral, the dark matter technology exceeded all projections. We destroyed over 90% of their fleet while suffering minimal casualties. No force in the galaxy can match our capabilities." Commander Park Ye-jin processed intelligence reports from across Vorthak space as their empire began to collapse. "Admiral, we are receiving surrender offers from dozens of Vorthak colonies. Many are volunteering information about remaining planet-killer facilities in exchange for protection." The war was over, but the work of building a new galaxy was just beginning. Humanity had proven that with determination and innovation, a species could rise from the bottom of the galactic hierarchy to become its ultimate protector. The dark matter fleet had taken the stage, and when it did, the galaxy learned to fear not human conquest, but the terrible, swift justice that protected the innocent from those who would destroy them. Ambassador Park Hyunwoo stood before the assembled representatives of 847 species and felt the weight of history on his shoulders. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Sol, and the galaxy was still adjusting to the new reality where Earth held ultimate military power. The Great Hall of the Galactic Commonwealth was filled with beings who had once dismissed humans as primitive, but now looked to them for leadership and protection. The Vorthak Empire was no more, and their territory had been divided among the species they had oppressed for centuries. But not everyone was happy with the new order, and some civilizations were secretly working to develop countermeasures to dark matter technology. The Free Galaxy Coalition had formed in the Outer Rim, claiming they would liberate the galaxy from human tyranny. Honored representatives, Ambassador Park began in a calm voice that carried to every corner of the hall. We gather today not as conquerors and subjects, but as partners in building a galaxy where no species will ever again face extinction at the hands of genocidal empires. Fleet Admiral Song Mi-young monitored the proceedings from her command ship orbiting the Commonwealth capital world. Her dark matter fleet maintained a protective presence throughout civilized space and had already responded to 3 major conflicts since the end of the Vorthak War. Each intervention had been swift and decisive with minimal casualties on all sides. Admiral, we are detecting unusual energy readings from the Krell hegemony territory, reported her tactical officer. Intelligence suggests they may be attempting to reverse engineer dark matter technology using captured Vorthak research data. Song Mi-young studied the sensor data and recognized the signs of illegal weapons development. The Krell had been one of the most aggressive species in the old Galactic Council, and they clearly had not learned the lessons of the recent war. Prepare a single destroyer for stealth insertion into Krell space, she ordered. We will deliver a reminder about the consequences of developing planet-killer weapons. Dr. Ryu Sung-ho worked in his laboratory on Earth developing the applications of dark matter technology that would transform galactic civilization. His research had moved beyond weapons to focus on peaceful uses that could solve the resource conflicts that caused most wars. The breakthrough he was approaching would make traditional mining and energy production obsolete. Admiral Han Dorimerhav completed the theoretical framework for dark matter terraforming, he reported during the daily briefing. We can use controlled gravitational fields to reshape entire worlds and create perfect environments for any species in a matter of decades, instead of millennia. Admiral Han Dae-ho reviewed the proposal and understood its implications immediately. If humans could terraform dead worlds quickly and efficiently, then the resource scarcity that drove most galactic conflicts would disappear. Species would no longer need to fight over habitable planets or rare minerals. Doctor, this technology could change everything, he said thoughtfully. But we must be careful about how we introduce it. Some species might see unlimited terraforming as a threat to their existing territory claims. The Free Galaxy Coalition had been growing stronger and more aggressive in their opposition to human leadership. Their propaganda broadcasts claimed that Earth was using dark matter weapons to enslave the galaxy and demanded that all species unite to overthrow human tyranny. Some of their more radical members had begun conducting terrorist attacks on Commonwealth installations. General Cho Min-ho coordinated the response to coalition activities from his command center on Mars. Intelligence reports showed that several species were secretly supporting the rebels while publicly maintaining their loyalty to the new galactic order. Admiral, the coalition has established hidden bases in 17 star systems, and their fleet strength is approaching 5,000 ships, he reported. They appear to be planning a coordinated strike against multiple Commonwealth targets. But the rebels had made a critical error in their assessment of human capabilities. They believed that dark matter technology was limited to the ships and weapons they had seen during the Vorthak War. They had no idea about the defensive networks that now protected every major Commonwealth world or the new generation of weapons that Earth had developed. Ambassador Park continued his address to the Commonwealth Assembly and outlined humanity's vision for galactic civilization. We propose the creation of abundance for all species through advanced terraforming technology. Dead worlds will become gardens, and resource conflicts will become meaningless when every civilization has access to unlimited habitable space. The reaction was immediate and powerful. Representatives from hundreds of species rose to their feet, in support, while others demanded immediate access to the new technology. The political impact would reshape the galaxy as species realized that cooperation with Earth meant unlimited expansion and prosperity. But the Krell hegemony chose that moment to test their new weapons against a peaceful Commonwealth colony world. Their attack fleet emerged from hyperspace and began bombarding civilian targets with illegal gravity bombs based on stolen Vorthak research. The assault was broadcast live across the galaxy as a demonstration of resistance to human authority. Fleet. Admiral Song received the emergency alert and responded with devastating swiftness. A single human destroyer materialized in the Krell home system and broadcast a simple message that reached every being in their civilization. This is the Commonwealth Defense Force. The transmission began. Your military has attacked innocent civilians using illegal weapons of mass destruction. You have 30 seconds to order an immediate withdrawal or face the consequences. The Krell Supreme Council was meeting in emergency session when the message arrived. Their military commanders assured them that one human ship posed no threat to their heavily defended homeworld. They had 200 orbital defense platforms and a garrison fleet of 500 vessels protecting their capital. But they had forgotten the lesson of dark matter technology. The human destroyer launched a single torpedo that phased through every defense and detonated in the planet's upper atmosphere. The explosion created a controlled electromagnetic pulse that disabled every electronic system on the world without harming a single living being. "This is your final warning," came the second transmission. "Withdraw your forces immediately or face complete destruction." The psychological impact was overwhelming. The Krell realized that humans could have destroyed their entire civilization with that one shot, but had chosen to demonstrate mercy instead. Their attack fleet withdrew from Commonwealth space within minutes, and their government issued a formal apology. Dr. Ryu completed his first successful terraforming experiment on a dead world in the Outer Rim. Dark matter field generators reshaped the planet's surface and atmosphere, while gravitational manipulation created perfect weather patterns. What had been a lifeless rock became a garden world ready for colonization in just 6 months. "Admiral, the terraforming process exceeded all expectations," he reported excitedly. "We can now offer every species in the galaxy unlimited expansion opportunities. The age of resource wars is over." The announcement of terraforming technology sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. Species that had been fighting over territory for millennia suddenly found themselves with access to unlimited worlds. The Free Galaxy Coalition's support began to collapse as their member civilizations realized that cooperation with Earth offered benefits beyond imagination. Ambassador Park signed the Commonwealth Abundance Accords with representatives from over 600 species. The treaty guaranteed access to terraforming technology for any civilization that agreed to peaceful coexistence and mutual cooperation. War became economically pointless when every species could have as many perfect worlds as they wanted. Admiral Handeho watched from his command center as the galaxy transformed before his eyes. The dark matter fleet that had once struck fear into alien hearts now served as the ultimate guarantee of peace. Children of dozens of species played together on terraformed worlds while their parents built a civilization based on cooperation instead of conquest. "Admiral, we are receiving requests for protection from over 200 species," Commander Park reported. "They want Commonwealth membership and access to our technology. The galaxy is choosing peace over war." The Free Galaxy Coalition made one final desperate attempt to challenge human authority. They assembled a fleet of 1,000 ships from 12 different species and announced their intention to liberate the galaxy from Earth's tyranny. Their propaganda broadcasts promised to restore the old order where might made right. But when their fleet approached Commonwealth space, they found something they had never expected. Hundreds of species had volunteered their own ships to defend the new order. The coalition rebels faced not just human dark matter vessels, but a united galactic fleet that represented the will of free civilizations. The battle never took place, because the coalition fleet surrendered rather than fight against their own cousins and neighbors. The rebels realized that they were not liberators but obstacles to progress, and their cause collapsed overnight. Fleet Admiral Song accepted their surrender and offered them the same choice given to all species in the galaxy. They could join the Commonwealth and help build a better future, or they could remain isolated while the rest of civilization moved forward without them.